Are you looking for peace of mind at your doorstep? Look no further. With the Blink Video Doorbell, your home's entrance is always within your control. Check out the link in the video description to learn more and get your Blink Video Doorbell on Amazon. Your home is in your hands.
Today is not only a momentous day in British political history, but also marks 70 years since news TV came into the nation's lives. On July 5, 1954, the BBC launched its first daily television news program, News and Newsreel, with presenters Richard Baker and John Snagg. It is hard to imagine the world without 24/7 coverage, with many high-profile anchors now bleary-eyed after an all-nighter reporting on the general election, but the 20-minute bulletin was panned. According to the BBC, News and Newsreel was slammed as absolutely ghastly and as visually impressive as the fat stock prices. So, what new stories did it actually cover? The main story was truce talks being held in Hanoi, Vietnam after the First Indochina War, which lasted for a decade between 1946 and 1956. The war was fought between the French and the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. The second major news item was the movement of French troops in Tunisia, which came shortly before the French Premier Pierre Mendès France agreed to grant the North African country complete autonomy. The concluding segment of News and Newsreel was dedicated to newsreel films, while the short bulletin ended with a report on the end of rationing after the Second World War. Baker and Snagg presented the whole show off camera as the BBC said it was decided at the time their appearances would be off-putting to audiences. The BBC Director General at the time, Sir Ian Jacob, admitted there were teething issues with News and Newsreel. He said, "News is not at all an easy thing to do on television. A good many of the main news items are not easily made visual, therefore we have the problem of giving news with the same standards that the corporation has built up in sound." However, Sir Ian added, "This is a start on something we regard as extremely significant for the future." Despite initial grumblings over the show, more and more people began tuning into TV during the mid-50s, so the broadcaster decided to up its news content, and has never looked back. Now, BBC News holds a special place in viewers' hearts, particularly for its hilarious blunders. Among the BBC's gaffe are the likes of newsreaders not realizing they're still on air and technical issues leaving the studio in darkness. Beloved BBC daytime TV favorite is latest star to join Strictly lineup. EastEnders confirms devastating death as scheming Rice goes too far. Meet the Wimbledon 2024 tennis presenters, commentators and pundits. Strictly star hits out at all sorts of constructed storylines on TV. Most memorably, the internet went into meltdown when BBC News anchor Miriam Moshiri appeared to give the middle finger live on air last year. Miriam later apologized for the gaffe, explaining she had jokingly counted down to the bulletin while larking around with some of the crew, and had not expected the moment to air. "Again, so sorry it went out on air. It was meant to be a private laugh," she wrote on X. "What I own, we saved for 10 years to buy our first home in West Sussex for £415,000. Want a private dip? A rare lake less than 2 hours from London is up for sale. I am worried about housing. Who should I vote for? I sold everything to live on a school bus with my husband and 4 dogs. Take tour of this £30 million mansion being sold by the inventor of the kettle switch. The world is certainly much more colorful now we have TV news." More, EastEnders Sharon Watts set to be fleeced by the most unexpected of characters. More, BBC viewers in tears as legend returns for Andy Murray farewell at Wimbledon. More, BBC and ITV schedules face huge shake-up as general election results loom.